Hi, I'm Pete Clark from 21 Whispers. I've been involved in mindset and resilience and well-being for a number of years, and in helping some of the clients that I work with how to deal with and navigate their way through really stressful times. There's three things I'd like to share with you about how to see it as an opportunity rather than a challenge. Intellectually, we always know there's both sides of the coin, and there's an upside to the downside and a downside to the upside. And knowing that, that's really the first strategy, is to accept that there's probably at least two sides to this. And whilst you might be focusing on the downside, which is a normal, natural way for our brain to keep us safe, there's also an upside. And can you see that upside? Even if it's, what could possibly be good about this situation? Asking a question like that, what could possibly be good about this situation? What could I possibly learn from this situation? It might not be feasible, it might not be realistic, but what it does is it shifts our brain's attention to the upside. And then what that does, it's then more likely that you are able to see yourself as having thoughts. I'm having an upside thought or I'm having a downside thought, rather than had by your thoughts. And when we are had by our thoughts, we get stuck in this kind of chaotic, self-reinforcing upside or downside. So even if you're only focused on the positive and can only see the positive, there's a danger in that too. There's a danger in not understanding and accepting the realism and the reality of the situation that you're facing. So I'm neither advocating for upside or downside. I'm advocating for being able to see both sides, being able to see the upside and the downside, so you can detach a little bit from the stressful thoughts and be having thoughts as opposed to had by your thoughts. The second thing is to find meaning within your life. And I don't mean, focus on the philosopher's question of what's the meaning of life, but to find meaning within your life. There is a ton of research that suggests whilst you are stressed, that's obviously not a good thing necessarily long term, but there's some things that can come out of that are pretty encouraging, pretty enjoyable, pretty soulful, pretty meaningful. And it doesn't necessarily mean that all stress is bad. Some stress is, but not necessarily all stress. There's a distinction between distress and eustress, EUSTRESS. And the eustress is actually a good thing. It provides momentum, it provides impetus, it can provide meaning for us. And so one little exercise I'd suggest is to think about, with your current situation, what are you valuing? What things do you value? What attributes do you value in a future self, perhaps? Pick two or three. Find the one that you would most like to demonstrate or be seen to show up as more often. And then, very simply, write about it. Write about how your current situation is encouraging you to demonstrate that value. So if the value you picked was patience, or listening, or compassion, it doesn't really matter. What matters is you've picked it. And then you write about how your current situation is giving you the opportunity to practice patience or compassion or to listen beyond the words. And if you just do it for 10 minutes, that can have a significant effect on creating meaning from what you're going through. The third thing I'd suggest is a little exercise where you finish the sentence. I can give you the sentence stem or the prompt, and the prompt might be, during these times, I'm learning more about, and then you finish the sentence. Despite how challenging the situation is, I'm learning about myself. And so using those sentence prompts can really help us dig into the significance and the meaning and what the situation is causing us to think about at a different level. Now, it doesn't necessarily change the situation, of course it won't, but what it will do is it will give you more sense of control, more sense of meaning, more sense of purpose and significance with what you're going through. And those strategies can help us see the situations we're going through as a challenge deliberately, consciously, as opposed to feeling like we're overwhelmed and it's too much. If that's been helpful, get in touch. You can check out the website, 21whispers.com. There's plenty of material and resources there to help you. Or reach out to me and connect with me on LinkedIn, P. Clark, and I look forward to chatting to you further. Cheers.